This is Quantum Spirituality, an article I wrote on Medium. Thomas Young conducted the double-slit experiment and pioneered into quantum mechanics. In this article, I'm proposing an idea of quantum spirituality, a concept to merge science and the Bible through the power of my imagination, which this cannot be right or wrong because I imagine all the connections. We'll start with the first words from the great book, Genesis 1:1. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And then God spoke, and then there was light. In other words, someone or something saw what was said. This ties into prophecy a little later on. For now, let's get into the double-slit experiment. The double-slit experiment allowed us to pull the curtain back on reality and see how it behaved without us looking at it. This was done by observing light patterns on the wall without looking at which one of two slits the light actually went through. When we don't know, the pattern on the wall suggests it went through both slits at the same time. When a measuring device was placed to see how that happened, the results changed. The light went through one slit or the other. From this experiment, we've concluded when there is no observer, light is a formless wave, just like the formless mass in the beginning. For it to be light, it must come into contact with your awareness of it. And you didn't even have to say a word. Sound is a vibration or a waveform of possibilities. So if God spoke and then there was light, it suggests the presence of consciousness. I suggest this was before we knew what consciousness was. If the sun blacked out for 3 days, the earth would have to be completely void of all life in order for the sun not to shine. But light shines invisibly in darkness and only becomes visible when it hits a surface. Light and dark need that third perspective to realize both, or neither can be seen. A joke shows how the third perspective relates with religion and science. Why is God and the devil invisible? Because our imagination has not realized our own creation. Because if you ever did witness either, you would have no more faith in them. You would know. So is God the waveform of possibilities that only exists when I am unaware of it? Certainly explains how and why God has been ever present yet ever invisible, doesn't it? If light assembles as light in my presence, could I be the God that created it? Well, other than a deity concept, how can we use this information? Imagination. This is where form meets formlessness before it is shaped into my experience. Things I imagine I am aware of, yet it is still in waveform inside of my existence. Well, what would happen if my imagination manifested? By the time you thought jaguar, you'd be running. I imagine other dimensions have this kind of reality. Although I'm thankful that I'm not constantly outrunning my imagination, how do I cross the threshold of formless into form? Art. Some call it a vision board, a painting, a sculpture, others call it a story, but it's creatively assembling our future. If thoughts become things, your imagination is the will to create what you want. Visualization and prayer. For myself, I visualize or meditate instead of prayer. Even when I would pray, the answer would come from inside of my experience, so I visualize the prayer happening. A similar concept is found in The Secret. Their motto is ask, believe, receive. I struggled with the believe part. I felt like I couldn't lie to myself to believe I already had what I wanted. Yet I found when I imagined and visualized, I am naturally taken out of a state of lack, and then my emotions react to my imagination, which is the basis of belief. When a prophet speaks, another sees, and both are connected through their awareness of the event. For time to exist, at least two subjects or subject-object are necessary. If we are all one, nothing happens. If none are present, there's a formless wave. When one perception witnesses another, time can say it happened in the space where one perceived the other. If prophecy was filled by one person, did it still happen? It must have, otherwise how could it have been foretold? Yet, who will believe this one person if the other witness died 2,000 years ago? I understand myself as part of that first moment when God spoke, all the way through to the end of prophecy. And the one thing that has kept its consistency from beginning to end is the thread of our awareness of our existence. And the rest is history. Every day we co-create with the universe. Our spirit world crosses the threshold with visualization and awareness. Emotional reaction to our imagination is the basis of beliefs. The imaginary world is our world, your world, our future. Every time you feel the sun on your skin, I want you to remember it assembled just for you. As the world forms around you with every step you take, molecules know they are matter because you were here to experience them. The air didn't know it was air till you breathed it in. You are the reason the earth holds together. You are the creator inside of the present.